Everyone take their seats, please. Anybody there? You did? Okay. I'd like to call the meeting in order. Could you everybody join me in a pledge of allegiance, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please. Supervisors Aaron Decker and David Arrington have been excused.
John Poole. Supervisor Poole.
Supervisor Poole, could you hit your device, please? Thank you. At this time, we'd like to recognize our 2013-14 Youth and Governance members. I stay right here. She told me to stay. This is Jeff goes up there. We're the chairman. Oh, I'm sorry.
Tonight will be our 8th group of students participating in Youth and Governance. On behalf of the Kenosha County Board of Supervisors and Kenosha County UW Extension, we'd like to recognize the following youth for their outstanding contributions to Kenosha County through their participation in our Youth and Governance program. They've been serving in their role since last May 2013. Before we do this, however, I would like to take a moment to recognize those who have served as mentors to this group. They are Supervisor Kim Bruning, Supervisor Aaron Decker, Supervisor Rick Dodge, Supervisor Boyd Frederick, Supervisor William Grady, Supervisor Mike Skalitsky, and Chief of Staff Jenny Tunkeys. The program has had impact. Just talk to these youth who are standing here, and I hope you have had opportunities to have those conversations. In addition, the program has been held up as a model for youth and governance around other county boards in Wisconsin. In 2012, the Dane County Board adopted our model and created their own program. And I'm happy to report that our friends to the north in Racine County just launched their first Youth and Governance program last week. So your efforts are being replicated by other counties across the state. And you know that's the best compliment of all. Thank you to the parents of our Youth and Governance members. The support they give to their youth is immeasurable. We'll now recognize our Youth and Governance members completing their term. When I call your name, come forward to receive your certificate from former Chairman Jeff Gens and Kim Brunig, former Chairperson of the Planning, Development, and Extension Education Committee. Please hold your applause until all youth have been recognized. Lindsay Allen, serving on the Human Services Committee. Kahari Bell, serving on the Executive Committee. Emily Gerstein, Planning, Development, and Extension Education Committee. Nicole Hyatt, Judiciary and Law. Ashley Kenny, Planning, Development, and Extension Education Committee. Zoe Rodriguez, Joint Services. John Setter Jr., Public Works and Facilities Committee. Michael Virilio, Judiciary and Law. And Peter Wurzba, Public Works and Facilities Committee. Youth not able to attend this evening are Madeline Artek from Finance and Administration Committee, Abigail Blyle from the Executive Committee, and Alicia Skalitsky from Human Services. Jeremy Jorgensen, Joint Services, and Patrick Kenny, Finance and Administration. As has become a tradition with our Youth and Governance, we ask one of our Youth and Governance members to share brief remarks. Michael Virilio is a senior at Bradford High School, and he's our only member this year who has served 2 years as a Youth and Governance member. So we'll ask him now to share a bit about his experience.
Thank you, Teddy, and thank you to everybody for being here tonight. My name is Michael Virilio, for those of you I haven't met yet, and I've been privileged to work with the Youth and Governance program and the county board the last 2 years. You know, honestly, when I was standing here in your guys' shoes 2 years ago, I really didn't know what to expect. I was certainly nervous, but that nervous soon turned to excitement as I really realized what my true purpose here was. You know, you look around the county and you might wonder who makes this all run. Now, how does the sheriff's department keep us safe? How the parks always look so nice? You know, who gets the roads plowed in the wintertime? Of course, our education. Well, somewhere along the line, I learned that a lot of it comes from here. It is the county leaders that choose to get involved in doing what's right, making good decisions for the citizens of Kenosha. That is what makes it happen. You know, I learned that politics isn't always everything you see on TV. Sometimes there's things that actually get done. And a lot of these guys, in fact, most of them, they really do care, and I've seen that. And you know, a lot of you guys might ask, well, what is Youth and Governance? What has the county board done for me in the last 2 years I've been a part of it? Well, I can say, above all, that it's given me firsthand experience in seeing how things get done in local politics. Seeing people like this take time out of their busy schedules to come here and make decisions, it's just something that's rewarding in itself. And as a Youth and Governance member, you should be privileged to be a part of this unique process and be invited to learn from these leaders. With that said, I would like to thank all you guys for joining, and I would also like to thank the county board for their continued support, as well as Teddy Winnett and the UW Extension for all their support and encouragement. Thank you very much.
We'll now appoint our 2014-2015 Youth and Governance members. As in past years, there continues to be tremendous interest in our Youth and Governance program. This year, we received 174 nominations representing youth from 10 high schools throughout Kenosha County. From those nominations, 23 youth submitted applications. The Planning, Development, and Extension Education Committee interviewed 21 youth to recommend 14 to be named by Chairman Kubicki to the various committees tonight. Thank you to the members of the Planning, Development, and Extension Education Committee for their work. Supervisors Decker, Skalitsky, Underhill, and Chairperson Brunig. Our two youth and governance members, Emily Gerstein and Ashley Kenny, also participated in the interviews. I'd like to acknowledge this year's mentors for our youth. For the Executive Committee, David Hallman. Finance and Administration, Kim Brunig. Human Services, Aaron Decker. Joint Services, Jenny Tunkeys. Judiciary and Law, Anita Johnson. Planning, Development, and Extension Education, Aaron Decker. And Public Works and Facilities, Michael Skalitsky. We'll now appoint our youth and governance members to their committees. When I call your name, please come forward to receive your official Kenosha County pin and a recognition from Chairman Ed Kubicki and our former Chair of the Planning, Development, and Extension Education Committee and now Vice Chair of the County Board, Kim Brunig. Please hold your applause when all youth are recognized. And parents, it is absolutely okay to take photos during any of this. So you just stand up and take your photos, okay? We'll have a photo op at the end. All right, Brianna Ayers, appointed to Human Services. Bryce Frost to Public Works and Facilities. Rihanna Ritzai to Joint Services. Eddie Corando, Planning, Development, and Extension Education Committee. Daniel Kervilla, Executive Committee. Bennett Majorowski, Finance and Administration. Jared Meyer, Finance and Administration. Luke O'Neill, Judiciary and Law. Elisha Shapansky, Joint Services. Spencer Wilker, Judiciary and Law. Unable to attend tonight, there's a county track meet going on, I understand, and they are competing for their opportunities for state conference track meets. So we have some youth who aren't able to be here tonight. Madeline Artek will be appointed to the Planning, Development, and Extension Education Committee, and she is a returning second-year member. Anna Adamek for Executive Committee, Julia Alberth for Human Services, and Jacob Hebier to Public Works and Facilities. We look forward to your contributions. I want to remind the youth again, I met them this evening for their orientation. You will get out of this what you put in it. So make it a great year. Join me in congratulating these outstanding Kenosha County young people, and now is a great time to stand up and take your photos. As the youth are taking their seat, I just want to acknowledge the contributions of former Chairman Jeff Gens and former PDEC Chair Kim Brunig for all the support they've given to the last year's class, and to you as county board members. It's your continued support of this program that makes it grow and popular. And as you listen to Michael speak tonight, again, you know it does make a difference. These young people are pretty incredible folks, and these are our future leaders. And I'm sure one of them is going to vie for your seat someday. So all the best. Again, Chairman, thank you.
Thank you for all you do, and congratulations to all the youth tonight. we'll conduct our regular meeting at this point and open it up to citizen comments, citizen comments, citizen comments. Anybody wishing to speak, now's the time. You have 5 minutes. Could you state your name and address for the record, please?
Good evening, I'm Kathleen Kloff. I'm pastor of Summers Community United Church of Christ, and my home address is 2031A 30th Avenue, Kenosha, Wisconsin, 53144. I am here on behalf of CUSH, Congregations United to Serve Humanity, and also on behalf of Citizen Action of Wisconsin. I want to place before you a healthcare advisory referendum for the November 14th, 2014 election for the county ballot. And that would be a referendum on placing, whereas, may I just read it for you? And that hopefully will help clarify. Whereas the state of Wisconsin has yet to take advantage of billions of new federal Medicaid dollars, which would have improved the state's Badger Care program, and that these federal funds are available at any time, and upon acceptance would provide access to Badger Care to 84,000 people as estimated by the state's Legislative Fiscal Bureau. And whereas 19 counties have passed resolutions urging Wisconsin to utilize these federal funds, a position that has been reiterated by the Wisconsin Counties Association, and that these federal funds would bring in an estimated $79,800,000 in federal funds to Kenosha between now and July 21st, whereas we would be helping by July of 2021. Yes, I'm sorry, I misspoke. We would be assisting in Kenosha County an estimated 2,766 residents who are currently not covered by Badger Care, who would be covered with the passing of this referendum. And whereas being underinsured and uninsured impacts county human service departments because it can lead to untreated mental health or substance abuse and lack of preventative health care that can lead to loss of jobs, the inability to function, and loss of self-sufficiency. The resolution states that be it resolved that Kenosha County Board of Supervisors hereby directs the county clerk to place the following advisory referendum question on the countywide ballot at the election to be held on November 4th, 2014. Shall the next state legislature accept available federal funds for Badger Care to ensure that thousands of Wisconsin citizens have access to quality and affordable health care coverage? Be it finally resolved that a copy of this resolution be sent to the Kenosha County Legislative Delegation, Governor Scott Walker, and the Wisconsin Counties Association. I have information that I have prepared in advance because I understand I'm just throwing this at you, and it helps to have data before you. There is a copy for each of the members present. May I pass them out?
Won't you, Ronnie, could you grab it from her? We'll pass it out for you. That's fine.
I've briefly touched on the state impact. As you can see in the first page when you get it, for the state, 84,700 Wisconsin residents would gain access to Badger Care, and $2.4 billion in federal funds would come into Wisconsin between now and July of 2021. What does this mean specifically for Kenosha County? For Kenosha County, 2,766 residents would gain access to Badger Care. $79,800,000 in federal funds would come into Kenosha between now and July of 2021. Kenosha County spent $9,771,663 in 2011 on mental health expenditures for those who lack insurance. Much of this would be replaced with Badger Care dollars, saving the county money. Those are economic reasons for this referendum. I am here with others who are in support of the referendum. Can you just wave? Thanks. Others that are involved in Cush or are here out of the goodness of their heart to see this done for our county. I have also included in your little packet Kenosha County summary of county health rankings. And this comes from...
Excuse me, you need to wrap it up, ma'am. We're at the
Okay.
5-minute mark. Okay.
I'm sorry. So concluding, we would urge you to do this because it is for the best interest of the bottom line of the county. If these resources are not funded, they will be passed on to the consumer. And you will see that we already have a bad ratio of consumers to primary care physicians. I speak to it because as a Christian pastor in this county, I believe it is our duty to look after our most vulnerable citizens. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else wishing to speak? We'll just give them a minute to clear, and I'll continue on with the meeting. Do we have anybody else wishing to speak this evening? Anybody else wishing to speak? Okay. Sir, could you again state your name and address for the record, please?
Hello to all the county board members, and especially Terry Rose from my neighborhood. And I just want to
I need your name and address, please.
Phil Haney from 6328 7th Avenue, Kenosha, Wisconsin.
Thank you.
I want to just support what was said by the representative from Cush. I am from AFL-CIO and AARP, even though I look much too young to be AARP, I'm sure. But anyway, it's totally unconscionable to not get the federal money for support of our Badger Care and other things. We've sent the money in. We should get it back. And by resolution of the body, by putting it on the ballot, by referendum, however we can do it. The pressure has to be put on to make this happen. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Is there anybody else? Is there anybody else? Is there anybody else? Citizen comments are closed. Announcements to the chair, I do have a few. Ordinance 1 that I put forward for tonight, I have tabled that for this evening. It's been tabled. Going on to other announcements that I have for this evening. On June 3rd, we'll be having continued training with our notepad devices here in these chambers from 6 to 7 p.m. from our IT department. Those wishing to attend are welcome to come. Also on June 3rd at 7 p.m., the Director of State Courts, John Volker, will be giving all of us a presentation that evening here at 7 o'clock, June 3rd. You all have on your desk the Kenosha County Electronics Communication Policy Forms. If you had read that policy, could you please sign it and print your name underneath your signature, please, and hand them in to the county clerk and our staff this evening. I have a few appointments to make. The Racine Kenosha Community Action Agency has an opening, and also the Pringle Nature Center has an opening, so see me after the meeting if you are interested, please. We are all saddened to hear about the death of Sue Marcinkus, who had worked at Kenosha Joint Services for 27 years and had served as its director for 11 years until her retirement in 2011. She was an active volunteer at the Anderson Arts Center and the Kemper Center. There will be a visitation with the family at Piasecki Althaus Funeral Home this Friday from 3 to 8 p.m. and a memorial service at 10 a.m. Saturday at the funeral home. She will definitely be missed. Please stand and join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. We'll go on to the rest of the meeting. County executive appointments. County clerk.
Supervisor reports.
Oh, sorry. Step ahead of the game again. Sorry about that. Supervisor reports. Sorry. Supervisor Hallman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Nothing in particular from Human Services Committee, but I do want to touch on what some of the speakers tonight have said. We are aware in our committee of the Medicaid expansion issue. It is something that initially, as we looked at how the Affordable Care Act was going to make changes to Badger Care, that was one of the first questions our aging and disability staff asked, was how is this going to impact the county budget? Is it actually going to save us money, depending on the extent to which the state decides to get involved with the Medicaid expansion program? With your permission, because this is an ongoing issue for us also, we're monitoring folks that are applying into the marketplace, the Affordable Care Act, as well as applying for Badger Care, and in some cases being shuffled back and forth as eligibility is determined. If with your permission, I'd like our committee to take a look at this, if that's okay.
That's fine.
Thank you.
Is there any other supervisor reports this evening? Supervisor Noble.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We had a meeting, the first meeting under my meeting chairing the Planning, Development, and Extension Education Committee. And as it turns out, we had the longest agenda they've had in several years. And we had many contentious items on the agenda. And the meeting lasted till, it was about a 4-hour meeting. We were going till about 10:20. The lady one of the young ladies with Youth and Government said her mother was texting her, "You're out after curfew." And she says, "No, I'm not out, I'm at the meeting." So I hopefully Teddy straightened that out with her parents. But it occurred to me that some of the contentious items that were on the agenda don't come before this board, so I wanted to basically give a summary of 4 items that were on the agenda that you are not going to have on our, on the county board floor. One of them was a conditional, they're all conditional use permits, because conditional use permits, the committee has the authority on conditional use permits. What basically comes before the county board are amendments to the comprehensive plan or zoning, changes in zoning. These particular conditional uses had the proper zoning, so the conditional use is, in a sense, as it says, the conditions that they need to follow to run their business. In the town of Salem, there was a conditional use permit for that would allow for outdoor sales display for a resale shop that was already in a B3 business district. The property is located on the north side of State Highway 50, about 1,300 feet west of 304th Avenue in the town of Salem. And basically, that was a cheese sausage shop that's been vacant for several years, and some company, some person is going to start a new business there. That one was not contentious. The next one was Wazar Incorporated. It's on Sheridan Road, I believe 540 Sheridan Road, and there's a long-standing former gas station on that particular road in the middle of a bunch of residential properties. This particular one did have neighbors speak against, and the particular business wants to do a tire repairs, repair used tires, putting them on vehicles. So we put in several conditions, and one of the concerns was the noise that the air impact wrenches might cause. So we put a 1-year condition on that. So the conditional use is only good for 1 year. He does have to come back in a year, and we'll make sure that the neighbors aren't being disturbed by the business that's going on. The vote on that was 3-2 in favor, with, oddly enough, the town of Summers did make go along with that, go along with the business and recommended approval, but the 2 representatives from the town of Summers, the 2 supervisors, voted against it. The 2 youth and governance also voted against it. So it was a contentious item. Another one was Batkey Holdings. It's on State Highway 142, 600 feet west of State Highway 45. He wanted to do an operation for resale of trucks and large and small farm equipment implement. He actually has a business right now, maybe 1,000 feet from where this particular business is. Long story short, 1 or 2 neighbors spoke against, but several neighbors, he did go out and approach several of his other neighbors, and they were in supportive of the business, so we voted to approve it, but we also gave it a 1-year condition so that he has to come back in 1 year and make sure he's following all the conditions that are in the conditional use permit. And the final one was the same particular businessman, where he had his former business in the town of Paris near the State Highway 45. He found a person that wanted to run an operation for a motorcycle ATV parts and oil sales service in his former business, and we also gave that a 1-year condition, and that also was approved by the committee. And those are the 4 that we had that you will not see on the agenda tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Noel. Supervisor Dodge?
Yes, I'd just like to say that over the past weekend, I was part of a large group, sold poppies at Festival Foods and Woodman's, and I'd like to thank all of the citizens of Kenosha County for their generosity. It's just amazing how many people don't walk by that stop, reach in their pocket, pull out money, $10, $20, $5, and help our local veterans. Memorial Day weekend is coming up. I want to remind everybody that we need to take time to have our veterans that lost their lives and gave so much over the past years, keep them in our hearts and our prayers. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Esposito, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just wanted, I'm sure that all supervisors have seen the mobile command unit out in front of the courthouse. Had a chance to look at it. I hope you did. It's quite impressive. Hard work got us to where we are today. With that, I'd like to thank the Sheriff's Administration and the County Board for a tool that's going to serve Kenosha County for many years to come. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? I see no more. We'll go to county executive appointments. County Clerk?
David P. Wilk to serve on the Kenosha County Traffic Safety Commission.
Refer to Public Works and Facilities Committee.
New business, Ordinance 2 from Planning Development Extension Education Committee regarding proposed comprehensive plan amendment, Batkey Holdings, Jeff Batkey, agent, requesting an amendment to the adopted land use plan for Kenosha County 2035, map 65 of the comprehensive plan, from governmental and institutional to mixed use located in the town of Paris. Planning Development Extension Education Committee, Noble, yes. Decker, yes. Skalitsky, yes. Ritzloff, yes. Gable, yes.
Supervisor Noble?
I move ordinance number 2.
It's been moved by Supervisor Noble, seconded by Supervisor Skalitsky. Supervisor Noble?
This item is in conjunction with resolution number 9 that's later on in the agenda. The property is located on the north side of State Highway 142, Burlington Road, approximately 550 feet west of the U.S. Highway 45. The comprehensive plan amendment will allow a revision of map 65 of the comprehensive plan from governmental and institutional to mixed use on tax parcel 454221-181-0410 in the town of Paris. The town of Paris recommended approval of the request. The building in question was a church. It's been vacant for 5 or 6 years, and I already spoke about the conditional use permit that we went through. He's going to run a business and sell trailers and things like that and have them on display out in front.
Okay, seeing no lights, all those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes.
Ordinance 3 from Planning Development Extension Education Committee regarding Backey Holdings, owner Jeff Backey, agent requesting a rezoning from I-1 Institutional District to B3 Highway Business District in the town of Paris. Noble, yes. Decker, yes. Galitsky, yes. Ritzloff, yes. Gable, yes.
Supervisor Noble?
I move ordinance number 3.
Ordinance 3 has been moved by Supervisor Noble, seconded by Supervisor Gable. Supervisor Noble?
This property is located on the north side of State Highway 145, Burlington Road, approximately 550 feet west of U.S. Highway 45. The rezoning would allow for new business to replace the vacant church. Now, 1 second, they've got something written wrong here. Yeah, this one actually does replace the vacant church.
I can't hear you, Supervisor Noble.
Now, this is for the rezoning of the same piece of property. The other one was a comprehensive plan amendment, which is basically the overall plan. Now that you've amended the overall plan, you have to amend the zoning for the particular piece of property. So it's a 2-step process.
Seeing no lights, with voice vote, all those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? The ayes have it.
Ordinance 4 from Planning Development Extension Education Committee regarding proposed comprehensive plan amendment. Ann M. Burke, trustee of the Ann M. Burke Revocable Trust. James P. Howe, Godfrey, Lipsey, Blackburn, and Haworth, SC agent, requested an amendment to the adopted land use plan map for Kenosha County, 2035 map 65 of the comprehensive plan, from medium-density residential and primary environmental corridor to suburban density residential located in the town of Randall. Noble, yes. Decker, yes. Galitsky, yes. Ritzloff, yes. Gable, yes.
Supervisor Noble?
I move ordinance number 4.
Ordinance 4 has been moved by Supervisor Noble, seconded by Supervisor Ritzloff. Supervisor Noble?
This item is in conjunction with Resolution 8 later on in the agenda. The property is located on the southwest corner of the intersection of 406th Avenue and 87th Street. Again, this is a comprehensive plan amendment, and it will allow for a revision of map 65 of the comprehensive plan from median density residential and primary environmental corridor to suburban density residential on tax parcel 64-119-182-0490 in the town of Randall. And the town of Randall also recommended approval of the request.
Thank you, Supervisor Noble. This requires a voice vote. All in favor? Aye. Excuse me? Oh, I'm sorry. Supervisor Rose,
All right,
excuse me.
Thank you. I think the board should know a little bit more about this for this reason. Annually, for a good number of years, the petitioner here, his husband, Alderman Edward Burke of Chicago, has, with the same law firm, has filed a claim against Kenosha County, which has annually been rejected on advice of the Corporation Counsel's Office. I'd like to know how that plays in with this particular proposal, as well as the following proposal. is there any relationship here? And I think we just need to know more about this in light of what was a long-standing dispute between the Burke family and Kenosha County and this proposal before us. So I raise these red flags. I don't know. I've listened to what the proponent here said, but it is not of sufficient definiteness for me to take a vote on this, knowing that annually, if you recall, a rather substantial claim, never filed in suit with the courts, but annually brought before this board by Alderman Burke.
Supervisor Rose, I think Vice Chair Bruning can shed some light on this for you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Supervisor Rose is correct. Every year this has happened. There was a dispute between the county and this piece of property. The property is owned by Burke, but they wanted to subdivide it with Burke and Rostenkowski, who is also from Chicago. The road that goes right next to the property is basically one vehicle lane. There was no way for them to turn around if there were any safety vehicles that needed to get down there, whether it be a police department, fire department, or a paramedic. What they have decided to do is to widen the road, and they have agreed to give the easement over to the town of Randall. They have gravelled the turnaround portion of it and made it bigger, and it has met the requirements of the town of Randall and also of the fire department and the paramedics out in the town. With that, they have decided to go ahead and follow with the division of the property and remove any claims against the county. Thank you.
Does that clarify everything?
So a release is being executed by them with Kenosha County?
I believe so.
Well, I think we need a yes or no.
That's my understanding as well. It's not a project that I've worked on. If it's possible that I might be able to reach the attorney who has been working on it, if that is the will of the board for me to try and do that, we could come back to the matter in a minute.
Yeah, I feel no rush or compulsion here. I am certainly skeptical. I know the reputation of Mr. Rostenkowski, and I know what Mr. Burke has filed numerous claims. I do read the Chicago Tribune from time to time. I want answers on that they are fully releasing the county, yes or no, before we vote. And I don't know if the committee was fully appraised of all of the background facts. If not, I think they need to be. Were they?
Supervisor
Chairman?
Rowe?
We were apprised of the fact that they had been, basically that they previously didn't want to do the right-of-way in their property. They agreed to do that now. They agreed to do the turnaround that Supervisor Bruning spoke of. But as far as being apprised of whether there was a release, no, we were not told that. Whether or not they, I mean, we weren't even told there was a pending, not lawsuit, but whatever, what'd you call it?
Well, they annually have filed a claim on this matter, and that should have been explored by the committee. I don't fault you for not knowing that, but I do remember the names involved, and that's what prompted it. And in light of that, Mr. Chairman, I would move to refer this back to committee, this together with number 5.
It's been moved by Supervisor Rose and seconded by Supervisor Gentz to refer it back to committee. Is there any other discussion on that?
Is that number 8 or number 5? 4 and 5, is it? 8?
It would be all of them.
Resolution 8, I see that. So it would be 4, 5, and 8.
We didn't get to read, we didn't read it yet.
It would be
Yes.
all of them.
Yes, it would be 4, 5, and 8.
4, 5, and 8.
Because they all revolve around the same piece of property.
Okay. So it's been moved and seconded. Any other discussion? Do a roll call vote on this, please. A vote in favor of referring it to committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Sure.
To Supervisor Rose, specifically, I had remembered that previous director of planning development had brought up the issue as Supervisor Bruning had mentioned. So I asked the question of staff, specifically, does this satisfy all the previous issues that have been brought up? And they had affirmed that to our committee. Now, and their lawyer, or the lawyer representing the Burke family, was there. But the specific question of whether or not they have released the county from any future suits or filings, that specific question was not brought up, but staff also did not answer as though that had been a previous issue. So it's a legitimate point. We did ask, we did probe into this, as much as we, as the committee, to staff who did have the history on it, was able to, just don't have that one, but we certainly,
Okay.
I know, can get that answer.
Good, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else? Okay, so if you're in favor of referring,
Didn't we already act on one of these resolutions?
Oh, no.
Am I missing something?
We're on number 4.
I mean, you're referring it back, but we already acted on one of those, if I remember.
No,
You said we're referring, which resolutions are we referring
4,
back?
5, and 8.
4, 5, and 8.
We already acted on 4, so
No.
what's the process to,
No, we didn't. Oh, no, we didn't.
No.
didn't we?
No, we didn't.
I thought we did.
We're working on 4.
That's the one we're getting back. Fee.
All right, okay.
Right. It's two ordinances and a resolution. It's two ordinance, 4 and 5, and resolution 8.
Okay. It's ordinance 4-5, resolution 8. Ordinance 4-5, resolution 8.
Right.
In favor to refer back.
So if you're in favor of referring it back, vote yes. If you're against, vote no. What do we need? Simple majority on this? Okay, the ayes have it. 21 to 1, or 20 to 1, rather.
Ordinance 6 from Planning, Development, Extension, Education Committee regarding Richard S. Painter, owner.
I realize it's been referred back, but if you're willing to hold for more, I can answer the question.
Right now?
Yes.
Okay, hold on a minute here. We have the Corp Counsel getting us some information on those particular items as we speak. He's on the phone with the individuals.
Mr. Chairman, regardless, I think with the committee the board referred it back to committee. There's no rush tonight.
Okay.
There's
I
no rush.
understand that. We'll go on to the next thing. You're right.
Ordinance 6 from the Planning, Development, Extension, Education Committee regarding Richard S. Painter, owner, requesting a rezoning from R1 Rural Residential District to R2 Suburban Single Family Residential District in the town of Salem. Noble, yes. Decker, yes. Splitsky, yes. Ritzloff, yes. Gable, yes.
Supervisor Noble.
I move ordinance number 6.
Ordinance 6 been moved by Supervisor Noble, seconded by Supervisor Gable. Supervisor Noble.
This property is located on the east side of County Highway B, 304th Avenue, about a third of a mile south of County Highway C, Wilmont Road. The rezoning would allow for the property to be subdivided into 2 single-family lots. The town of Salem recommended approval of the request. And the reason you don't have a comprehensive plan amendment because this does meet the comprehensive plan. So it's just a rezoning from one large lot to 2 smaller lots.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is just a voice vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. County Clerk.
Ordinance 7 from the Planning, Development, Extension, Education Committee regarding Larry Holst, owner, requesting a rezoning from B2 Community Business District to R5 Urban Single Family Residential District in the town of Salem. Noble, yes. Decker, yes. Galitsky, yes. Ritzloff, yes. Gable, yes.
Supervisor Noble?
This property is located on the north side of 113th Street, approximately 175 feet west of the intersection of 276th Avenue. The rezoning would allow for the creation of 2 single-family lots, and the town of Salem recommended approval of the request. It's basically on Camp Lake.
Excuse me, Mr. Supervisor Noble, that was seconded by Supervisor Ritzloff. I just want to make that clear for the record. I didn't say that fast enough. Excuse me, go ahead.
Okay. The town of Salem recommended approval of the request. It's on Camp Lake. It was I think it was called a Land's Inn. It was a tavern, but it's been vacant for several years. He's going to bulldoze the former tavern building and build homes on it. It's 2 single-family homes.
Thank you. It's just a voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Passes unanimously.
Ordinance 8, from the Planning, Development, and Extension Education Committee, proposed comprehensive plan amendment. Larry Holst requested an amendment to the adopted land use plan map for Kenosha County, 2035, map 65 of the comprehensive plan, from commercial to medium-density residential located in the town of Salem. Noble, yes. Decker, yes. Galitsky, yes. Ritzloff, yes. Gable, yes.
Supervisor Noble?
You're
going to move it first?
Yes, I move resolution number 7.
It's been moved by Supervisor Noble, seconded by Supervisor Skalitsky. Supervisor Noble?
The state requires a resolution from the Planning and Development and Extension Education Committee and an ordinance from the full county board to amend the comprehensive plan. This resolution would allow an amendment of the Kenosha County Comprehensive Plan for a change from commercial, which is the tavern that I talked about, to medium-density residential on tax parcel 66-4-120-283-0635, located in the southwest quarter of section 28T1N R20E, Town of Salem. The Town of Salem recommended approval of this request.
Thank you, Supervisor Noble. This requires a voice vote. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Passes unanimously. County Clerk.
Resolutions. 1, from Supervisor Terry Rose, a resolution to urge the amending of the Wisconsin statutes to allow counties to address the issue of minimum wage individually.
Refer to Executive Committee.
2, from the Finance Administration Committee, regarding resolution to fund the District Attorney Office investigator position. Judiciary and Law Committee, Esposito, yes. Johnson, yes. Boyd Frederick, yes. Arrington, yes. Ron Johnson, yes. Blau, yes. Poole, yes. Finance Admin Rose, yes. Ron Frederick, yes. O'Day, yes. Kohlmeyer, yes. Brunig, yes. Gens, yes. Dodge, yes.
Supervisor Rose? Oh, I'm sorry. Supervisor Esposito.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move resolution 2.
2's been moved by Supervisor Esposito, seconded by Supervisor Rose. Supervisor Esposito.
This resolution is based a resolution that came before Judiciary Law and Finance Committee in regards to the district attorney. Last year, we put in the budget to have a contracted position for an office investigator. Due to some changing in the office or retirement and so on and so forth, we could not find someone to fill the contracted position. So basically, there was monies in the budget of $40,000. With the kind of restructuring, we can have a full-time investigator and basically break even and save the $40,000 that we had for a contracted person. So, and that's kind of in a nutshell. Mr. Riedel's here if any other supervisors have any questions for him. It passed unanimously with both committees. I urge your approval. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Esposito, this requires 2/3 vote, so Supervisor Rose.
Terry Rose is late.
All right.
Supervisor Rose, you have
Thank
the
you.
floor.
Let me just expound a little bit on what Supervisor Esposito said on the resolution which I seconded here this evening. The district attorney found that the $40,000 for a contracted person did not attract anyone to the position. He thought that he would be able to hire a retired police officer, deputy sheriff, to assume the position, but found that their concern was that the liability issue. They would need to fund that themselves, and for the risk involved and the reward, the salary of $40,000, it was just insufficient. So he could find no one who would fulfill the position. He's already made the case for the need, so I'm not going to talk about that. The memo is here, which is about the same thing that he presented to the board in consideration for the budget. Therefore, the position is to be authorized here as a county government position, and Mr. Stute, who holds a position in the district attorney's office as a social worker titled, but as a victim witness coordinator, would assume this position at the same salary with benefits. The liability issue, of course, doesn't come about because he's a county employee, and he has the same immunities and as other employees in that kind of position would have, plus the defense of the county in the event that that liability issue came to the forefront. So that is the reason why I think more fully the position is to be a county position as opposed to outsourcing or independent contractor.
Thank you, Supervisor Rose. Seeing no other lights, this requires 2/3 because it's budget modification. Yes if you're in favor, no if you're against, please. Two-thirds, right?
Technical problems. Well, there's the majority.
Just do a show of hands then. You're gonna need the second item's gonna be that way too.
Problem, actually.
Okay. What we'll do is if you're in favor, we're going to go old-fashioned here. Raise your hand if you're in favor.
Take a poll. We can do aye, yes. Here. I'm just going to call your name and you can say yes or no, okay? It'd be a lot easier that way. Grady? 100%. Rose? Yes. Gens? Yes. Gable? Yes. Dodge?
Yes.
Kubicki?
Yes.
Hallman? Aye. Johnson? Ron Johnson? Yes. O'Day? Yes. Ron Frederick? Aye. Leah Blau? Yes. Aaron Kohlmeyer? Yes. Boyd Frederick? Yes. Ritzloff? Yes. Esposito? Yes. Noble? Yes. Anita Johnson? Yes. Skalitsky? Yep. Poole? Yes. Brunig? Aye. Elverman? It's unanimous.
Passes unanimously.
Resolution 3, from Finance Administration Committee, resolution to increase the wage schedule for electricians and heating, ventilation, and air conditioning technicians. Rose, yes. Ron Frederick, yes. O'Day, yes. Colmeyer, yes. Brunig, yes. Gentz, yes. Dodge, yes.
Supervisor Rose.
I move the resolution.
It's been moved by Supervisor Rose, seconded by Supervisor John O'Day. Supervisor Rose.
The proposal before you is an amendment to the 2014 county budget. It increases the wage schedule for the electricians and heating, ventilation, and air conditioning technicians. If you recall, when the position was created, those positions were set at a wage between $19.66, $25.12. The market, however, the economy has created a wage market for these jobs between $25.37 and $32.39. So the proposal before you is an effort to make those jobs competitive and attractive as compared to the private sector. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to fill them in the future.
Thank you, Supervisor Rose. I see one light on here. Supervisor Ritzloff, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am involved with in my business of knowing, benefits and salary schedules and everything. And I called Bob, and I guess I gave him a little bit of the third degree just for my own sake, voting on this. And everything I can see, this makes all the sense in the world for us to do this way, for saving money for the county, providing the need for an HVAC technician, considering the union wage schedule, the fact that they're not unionized here anymore, you add all of those factors together, and this is, in my opinion, a good idea to do, so I do support it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Supervisor Ritzloff. This requires a 2/3 vote because of budget modification. We're going to do it by roll call again.
Grady, sorry. Rose,
Yes.
Gentz, Gable, Dodge,
Yes.
Kubicki,
Yes.
Hallman, Ron Johnson, O'Day, Ron Frederick, Blau, Aaron Colmeyer, Boyd Frederick,
Yes.
Ritzloff, Esposito, Noble, Anita Johnson, Skalitsky, Poole, Brunig, Elverman. Passes unanimously.
Passes unanimously.
Alrighty. Resolution 4 from Human Service Committee, a resolution to approve the appointment of Lisa Rasmussen Zanin to the Kenosha County Aging and Disability Resource Center Board. Hallman, yes. Gable, yes. Johnson, excused. Aaron Decker, yes. Arrington, excused. Blau, yes. Ritzloff, yes.
Supervisor Hallman.
Move Resolution 4.
It's been moved by Supervisor Hallman, seconded by Supervisor Blau. Supervisor Hallman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is an appointment to our Aging and Disability Resource Center Board. Just a very quick note for those who are unfamiliar. Our ADRC board has been very instrumental not just in giving guidance to the ADRC Center itself, but also in terms of providing Kenosha County with guidance in terms of structuring its mental health programs. The appointment of Ms. Zanian helps fill out the members and the committee members of that board. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Hallman. This requires a voice vote. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Passes unanimously. County Clerk.
Resolution 5 from Judiciary and Law Committee regarding activity control license for Country Thunder LLC. Esposito, yes. Ron Johnson, yes. Boyd Frederick, yes. Arrington, yes. Anita Johnson, yes. Blau, yes. Poole, yes.
Supervisor Esposito.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move Resolution 5.
It's been moved by Supervisor Esposito, seconded by Supervisor Ron Johnson. Supervisor Esposito.
Thank you. Again, this is the activity control license for Country Thunder. I believe it was last meeting, we had the conjunction with the whole festival. Again, we're a little bit ahead of the game this year. I want to thank Captain Weichert for that, and Supervisor Bruning for staying on top of this. We're not doing this last minute like we have in years past, so I urge your approval. I hope we have a great festival out there. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Esposito. Requires a voice vote. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Passes unanimously.
Resolution 6 from Judiciary Law and Finance Administration Committees, resolution to approve the appointment of James Hawkins to the Kenosha County Civil Service Commission. Judiciary and Law, Esposito, yes. Anita Johnson, yes. Boyd Frederick, yes. Arrington, yes. Ron Johnson, yes. Blau, yes. Poole, yes. Finance Admin, Rose, yes. Ron Frederick, yes. O'Day, yes. Aaron Kohlmeyer, yes. Gens, yes. Brunig, yes. Dodge, yes.
Supervisor Esposito.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move Resolution 6.
It's been moved by Supervisor Esposito, seconded by Supervisor John O'Day. Supervisor Esposito.
Thank you. Again, this is a resolution to approve Jim Hawkins on the Kenosha County Civil Service Commission. Passed both committees unanimously. Jim, a long time affiliated with the Kenosha News, longtime Kenosha resident. He did come to our meeting, and I want to thank him for that. And we had a good discussion, so on and so forth. I think he'd be an asset to the commission. I urge your approval. Thank you.
Thank you. Requires a voice vote. All those in favor of the appointment, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Passes unanimously. Congratulations.
Resolution 7 from Planning Development Extension Education Committee, proposed regarding comprehensive plan amendment. Larry Holst requested an amendment to the adopted land use plan map for Kenosha County 2035, map 65 of the comprehensive plan, from commercial to medium density residential in the town of Salem. Noble, yes. Aaron Decker, yes. Skalitsky, yes. Ritzloff, yes. Gable, yes.
Supervisor Noble.
I move Resolution 7.
It's been moved by Supervisor Noble, seconded by Supervisor Skalitsky. Supervisor Noble.
The state requires a resolution from the Planning and Development and Extension Education Committee and an ordinance from the full county board to amend the comprehensive plan. We've already passed the ordinance above, so this resolution will allow an amendment to the county comprehensive plan for a change from commercial to medium density residential on tax parcel 66-4-120-283-0635 located in the southwest quarter of section 28 T1N R20E Town of Salem. And the Town of Salem recommended approval of the request.
Thank you, Supervisor Noble. Voice vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Passes unanimously. County Clerk.
Resolution 9 from Planning Development Extension Education Committee regarding proposal. No, 8's been tabled.
Excuse me. Thank you. 9.
Resolution 9 from Planning Development Extension Education Committee regarding proposed comprehensive plan amendment. Batke Holdings owner Jeff Batke agent requested an amendment to the adopted land use plan map for Kenosha County 2035, map 65 of the comprehensive plan, from governmental and institutional to mixed use located in the town of Paris. Noble, yes. Decker, yes. Skalitsky, yes. Ritzloff, yes. Gable, yes.
Supervisor Noble.
Move resolution number 9.
It's been moved by Supervisor Noble, second by Supervisor Gable. Supervisor Noble.
Just like the previous one, the state requires a resolution from the Planning and Development Extension Committee and an ordinance from the full county board to amend the comprehensive plan. This resolution will allow an amendment to the Kenosha County Comprehensive Plan for the change from governmental and institutional, which is the church I talked about, to mixed use on tax parcel 45-4-221-181-0410 in the town of Paris. The town of Paris recommended approval of the request.
Thank you, Supervisor Noble. Voice vote sufficient. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Passes unanimously.
Resolution 10 from Public Works Facilities Committee, a resolution to repair the County Trunk Highway S Railroad Highway crossing with the tracks of the Union Pacific Railroad in the town of Summers.
Supervisor Elverman. Oh, so you gotta
I move Resolution 10, Mr. Chairman.
It's been moved by Supervisor Elverman, seconded by Supervisor Boyd Frederick. Supervisor Elverman, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I've done these resolutions numerous times with most of the people here, but excuse me, with having some new supervisors, I'll explain it a little bit. When our highway commissioner deems a crossing unsafe for traffic, our snow plows, safety, he notifies the railroad companies, and they usually do nothing. What this resolution does is give us a copy that is sent to the state of Wisconsin. The state of Wisconsin then regulates the railroads, and they tell the railroad they have to fix it. So this is our first step. We have to do this resolution. A copy goes to the Commissioner of Railroads for the state of Wisconsin, and then he orders the company to fix that crossing. So thank you for your approval.
Thank you, Supervisor Elveron. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Passes unanimously.
Resolution 11 from Public Works and Finance Administration Committees regarding resolution to approve the sale of the Yule House property. Elverman, yes. Grady excused. Boyd Frederick, yes. John Poole, yes. Galitsky, yes. Rose, yes. Ron Frederick, yes. O'Day, yes. Brunig, yes. Dodge, yes. Gans, yes. Kohlmeyer, yes.
Supervisor Elverman?
I would move Resolution 11.
Okay, it's been moved by Supervisor Elverman, seconded by Supervisor Ronald Johnson. Supervisor Elverman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is the Yule property. Many of us knew it as the Historical Society building, then the Corporation Counsel's office. We've had it for sale. It's been vacant for numerous years. We've kept it up. We've had it for sale, had very few offers. We had 3 offers in the last 6 months. One was for $100,000. One was a land contract, and this was the first solid offer, $267,000, based on a sale of a property in a hot moving area in San Diego. So our attorneys are feeling pretty safe with this. The only thing I'd like to do with this, and I know it was brought up at the finance meeting, is in the now therefore be resolved, I would like to add at the end of the last sentence, the county executive is authorized to sign the necessary documents to complete the transaction and sell the property as is. I'd like to add and sell the property as is.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded, but we're going to let the Corp Counsel weigh in on this.
Because the motion was made in the Finance Administration Committee contingent upon an as-is conditioned sale, we spoke to our broker, who's here tonight, if there are any questions for him. He has drafted, and I have vetted, an amendment to the offer to purchase, making it clear that the property purchase is being an as-is transaction. That has been signed by both the buyers and the county, and is therefore now a part of the signed offer to purchase.
So then I would ask for your approval on the original resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. We have one other light off. Supervisor Gens?
No, that's exactly what I wanted to say. So we're going to approve this as with the amendment, right? Because all the yeses at finance were subject to that. So, okay, thank you.
It's yes in favor with the amendments. Yes.
Thank you.
Supervisor Rose, you have the floor.
The as-is proposal was made and passed at the Finance Committee. I thought it would be part of this resolution and attached to it, because this resolution references the attached documents. That's not one of them.
The amendment to the offer to purchase was signed and returned to us yesterday, so it was not available at the time the packets were put together. It is my opinion that that is now a part of the offer to purchase, because it has been amended and signed by both parties. The resolution is approving the offer to purchase as a whole. So as far as I'm concerned, I believe the board is covered. The as-is language is now a part of the offer to purchase, even if the board doesn't have it in front of it.
Okay.
Is that all, Supervisor Rose?
Thank you.
Supervisor Esposito?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through the chair to Mr. DiBartolo, if he could come up to the podium, please. and just clarify that for us. I mean, I understand what's going on, but I want to make sure all the other supervisors understand too. This, Tony, longstanding realtor, great guy. This is obviously an amendment that is part of the whole purchase contract, real estate contract as of right now, correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you. Does that suffice for you?
It does, thank you.
And if anybody's really having trouble falling asleep tonight, I can read it to you.
Okay, this requires a voice vote. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Passes unanimously.
Communications from Andy M. Bueller regarding future items scheduled before the Planning Development Extension Education Committee.
Receive and file.
Kelly Rainey versus Kenosha County Detention Center.
Refer to Corporation Council.
James Daniels versus Sheriff David Beth.
Refer to Corporation Council.
Claims, ANSR property damage.
Refer to Corporation Council.
Terrence Mack mailbox damage.
Refer to Corporation Council.
Vito Ramonde vehicle damage.
Refer to Corporation Council.
Approval of the minutes from the May 6th meeting by Supervisor Ron Johnson.
It's been moved by Supervisor Ron Johnson, seconded by Supervisor Esposito. All those in favor, say aye. 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 We have a motion to adjourn? By Vice Chair Bruning. Supervisor Skalitsky.
I was wondering if Corp Counsel could give us any kind of an update regarding his phone conversation on the Burke property so we could all hear it.
I certainly can. I spoke with Senior Assistant Corporation Counsel Kopp, who has been working on this matter. She said the question of a release did come up as part of the conversations with the Burke attorneys, and it was determined that there really couldn't be a release of the claim per se. Number one, because they didn't want it to appear that there was any sort of quid pro quo going on in terms of the approval of the zoning change and the comprehensive planning change, but more importantly, because the argument and the position that the county has always taken was that there was no valid claim because they had never done what we had asked them to do, namely go through the process, present the matter to the appropriate committee and the county board for the necessary amendment to the plan and the zoning. Because they've now done precisely what we asked them to do, it is our position that there is no claim, therefore there's no need for a release. That's my position. That is Attorney Kopp's position. She indicated that if it was the will of this body, it could be dealt with in committee next month.
So, from that perspective, the question regarding, and I understand about the quid pro quo, obviously that would look a little, you're satisfied that all the necessary steps are in place, that the questions that this body had just had were taken care of with that phone conversation?
I am satisfied, yes.
Okay. Now, so as a result of that, because this has been referred back to committee, and I understand that, but it's then just come back, and we're trying to move things along here, is there the ability to reconsider the motion that was moved earlier, and so that we can perhaps vote on these issues tonight?
We backed it to the committee. It's going back to committee. We're moving on from that particular point. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Okay, thank you.
Supervisor Nia
I just
Johnson.
want to say, we didn't get the policy. We got the form, but we didn't get the policy to read, to sign.
Yeah,
The
it
electronic
should be
policy.
via email to you.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought it was on our desk.
No.
Okay.
Yep. Supervisor Rose.
Move adjourn.
Second.
It's been moved by Supervisor Rose, seconded by Supervisor Rick Dodge to adjourn. All those in favor? Aye. Thank you.